We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Flugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, if you love everything in college football, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends. If you want to support this college football rebel outpost, support the home for the college football sickos with a donation to help us keep the lights on, to help us grow the channel. Hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome on in, everyone, including those Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Come on into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. It is Monday, September 22nd. Interesting show today. First of all, we are going to quickly go through the schedule for Week 5. And it is a great slate of games, especially in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is coming out strong in their basically first week of conference. Now, there has been some conference games, Michigan and Nebraska, but this is the first week of truly the Big Ten Conference. conference play, and it is coming out with some big games. But it's not just the Big Ten. It's all over the country, and we are going to talk about them. I have not yet selected the games that we are going to pick against the spread on. Again, Greg the Cooler record is 28-35. The PATC Gridiron Einsteins, your record is 28-35. I did have a 3-game lead on you, but last week I went 7-10, and you all went 10-7. So we are all tied up. And then we are going to go to the big breaking news of today. The SEC has scheduled what they're calling, they're not calling it permanent rivals. They are calling it annual opponents for the next 4 years for all 16 SEC teams. We are going to go through that. And now look, who am I, right? Who am I? I'm just a fat guy from Minnesota, way up in Minnesota, with my horrible accent. My horrible singing voice. Who am I to say if these are good selections for the annual opponents in the SEC? But, it is a college football YouTube channel. And I've got to give my opinion. When I have an opinion, I think this is pretty good. I think this is pretty good. That's my opinion. I think they did a good job. And they held to a certain criteria. We're going to go through it, how they selected these annual opponents for every SEC team. Historic rivalry, competitiveness, things of that nature. I think they balanced it out pretty good. That's just my opinion. I don't think this is an issue when and if the SEC expands their conference, especially if they do the big scoop of 4 schools. I think they just have, if they want to, they could have the 4 new schools be annual opponents with each other. Or they can mix it up again. They'll figure it out. The Big Ten has had to redo it a couple of times. So I don't think this foretells any SEC future plans. Be it big scoop, small scoop, or no scoop at all. So we're going to go through that. We are going to go through that. Also, we are going to go and talk about the news coming out of Virginia Tech. Chris G., it's time to amend the Holy Smokes Theater, Greg. The biggest brand in Virginia is adding $60 million to its annual athletic budget, with most going to football. Okay. And Bruce Arians on the board to help our next big... Okay. We are going to talk about what is going on at Virginia Tech. We are going to talk about that. It's big news. We are going to talk about it. And the effect that it might have on the Holy Smokes Theater, we shall see. And then we're going to talk about the news coming out of South Florida. The University of South Florida. The University of South Florida Bulls. The new CEO had a few things to say today. A small window of time for South Florida. All gas, no brakes for South Florida. The University of South Florida. We are going to talk about that as well. And if you missed our live show for Sunday, It was the Aftermath show. We talked about Saturday's football games. We talked about how poorly I did. We talked about how great you all did. And we talked about the teams rising and falling in big games and all that. We also talked about the article that came out from the St. Paul Pioneer Press Sunday morning. We talked about what Minnesota Athletic Department Athletic Director Mark Coyle had to say. And we are going to revisit that. I must have done a very poor job. My bad. I must have done a very poor job on why I think that was so important to cover on a Sunday on an Aftermath show hours after this article was released, because people have been forward me. They've been DMing me, some in text messages, and they've been sending me pics of what people are saying about my coverage yesterday, about how this means absolutely nothing. Greg, again, is gaslighting. Greg is making a mountain out of nothing. Okay. I'm going to try. Now, I'm not going to spend much time on it. At the back end of the monologue, I'm going to give just a little bit more time to it. I must have done a poor job. So I'm going to try again. It's not just what was said. Who said it? And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to try once again to illustrate why I think that messaging from Mark Coyle was so important. And I'm going to remind everybody, it's not the last we hear from this. So we'll just have to wait until something. We're just going to have to wait. Just going to have to be a little bit more patient. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I very much appreciate it. So very much. We do have some new memberships. Oh boy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ricky Tungate. 5 gifted membership from the Indiana Hoosier, Ricky Tungate, Dave B, Big Gun Shop, Mountaineer Memes, Chef Mall 7, and Chris G. All were gifted a membership. Please, when you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Ricky Tungate. Please say thank you for his generosity. Ricky, thank you so very, very much. I very much appreciate it. My goodness, all of you are officially knighted. Cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Let's see here. We got another membership, I believe. No? Is Edward the Auburn Tiger, a new member of the early P Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Edward the Auburn Tiger. I do appreciate your generosity. Appreciate you becoming a new member. You are officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger. Edward the Auburn Tiger and the 5 gifted memberships from Ricky Tungate. And now we've got 5 gifted memberships from Bill G. Wow. Thank you, Bill G. Matthew Carlson, KST, Mick Stevens, Bob Husley, Tumasta, all received a gift in membership. When you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Bill G. Bill G, Ricky Tungate, you guys have been doing this for a long time. So generous to the PATC family. So generous to this channel. Thank you so very much. All of you are United Cloak and Dagger. All of you are United Cloak and Dagger. Go check out the episodes, everything in our library of episodes, especially the early Peak Cloak and Dagger episodes. Yes, I see it. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. Breaking news here at PATC. College football, peek around the corner. College football, peek around the corner. Ralph Russo, ACC announces its athletic director support moving to a 9-game conference schedule and a model that requires members to play at least 10 games against 4 opponents. We have been incredibly intentional throughout our discussions on ACC football, including the future of our conference schedule. Today, September 22nd, the athletic directors of the 17 football playing institutions overwhelmingly supported a regular season schedule that includes 9 conference games and a minimum of 10 games each year against Power 4 opponents. This positions the ACC as one of the only 2 leagues committed to having every team annually play a minimum of 10 games against Power 4 teams. There will be additional discussions and more details to be determined, but today's decision showcases the commitment and leadership of our ADs in balancing what is best for strengthening the conference and their respective programs. As specified in the conference constitution, the model will be presented to the faculty athletic representatives for formal adoption. So it is going to happen. It is definitely going to happen. Let's see here. And here is more additional information. More breaking news on this. This is the part I've been waiting for. More breaking news. One ACC school will play 8 conference games annually, while everyone else plays 9. The only way to make the math work with 17 schools. So, there is not going to be, at this time, there's not going to be ACC expansion to get to 18 schools to make the math work. At this time, ACC schools playing Notre Dame is not going to count as a conference game because that idea was brought up and thrown around inside the ACC. No, the decision has been made. Every year there's going to be 16 football teams in the ACC that are going to play 9 conference games. One team is going to play 8 conference games. So again, it's going to come down to winning percentage. So that is the breaking news. The ACC goes to 9 conference games and are committed that every team in the conference is going to be playing 10 Power 4 conference games. So big news. Every conference, Power 4 conference, is going to be playing 9 conference games. All right. Now that has been decided upon. What does that do? The planes are landing. The planes are landing. What is that going to do for the playoff format? Is this good enough now for the Big Ten? Did Tony Petitti get enough of what he needed to say, okay, all right, okay, we'll expand to 16 teams. We'll do the 5+11 now that everyone's playing 9 conference games. Is this good enough? What about the ACC? Are they, and now they're going to 9 conference games. Again, that's a whole lot more losses in the conference, automatic losses. Now, are they thinking, whoa, wait a second. Wait a second here. Maybe we should be for the automatic qualifiers. The AQ model. We'll find out. We will all find out together. But breaking news. You can talk about it in your comments, in your super chat, and with your phone calls later on in the show. Big news. Wow. Jimmy Austin, early peak Cloaking member of the family, 18 months. Taking Penn State minus the points will get you back on track. Will get you back on track to the gold. You know how many DMs I get every single day from people pleading with me, begging me to take take their opponents in the next week's games? Do you know how many people flood my DMs praying that I go against their team? Well, Jimmy, let me tell you something. Mr. Duck. I might take Oregon. I might take Penn State. But you better wish I take Oregon. You better wish I take Oregon, because this week is going to be great. I've been Greg the Cooler the last 2 weeks. I had a Greg the Gold week on week 2. I went Greg the Cooler on week 3, week 4, week 1, week 0. But whatever. There was a Greg the Gold on week 2. Greg the Gold is coming back. And he's coming back on week number 5. This is where, I always say, get your RB1 all lathered up. Give an RB1 the rock. Get him warmed up. Right? Well, I'm all lathered up. The fat guy from Minnesota is all lathered up. Now look, I've broken now I've got enough games, right? I've seen enough. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be Greg the Gold in week 5. So Jimmy, you better pray. You better pray that I take the Oregon Ducks. That's all. That's the last I'm going to. No, we're actually going to talk about that game today. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for your generosity. You are officially knighted. Cloak and Dagger, my friend. Officially knighted, Cloak and Dagger once again. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. We've got a super chat. We've got so much to get to. Here, a lot of stuff going on today. Holy smokes. Ricky Tungate. Super chat. Thank you for the $5 holla. Ricky, I appreciate you starting us off in the super chats as well. Greg, I count you as one of the family. Thank you, Ricky. But what's going to happen, Ricky? What's going to happen when your fellow family member, the fat guy from Minnesota, what happens when I go against the Indiana Hoosiers? Because I went for them. You know this. I took Indiana against Illinois. Greg the Cooler was no match for the Hoosiers. But one of these days, I might have to go against the Hoosiers. And we'll see what you say in the chat room. We'll see what you say in the chat room. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate your generosity. Appreciate it so very much. Flugar is threatening us. Flugar is threatening us. If Greg got any cooler, he'd be ice. No, I've been accused of being ice. I've been accused of being ice. Super chat. Ryan Willett. I'm upset, Evil Badger. I'm an upset Evil Badger. After finding out the Wisconsin versus Michigan game will be on BNK on October 4th, now the entire country will see how bad Fickle has destroyed the Wisconsin football program. I don't know, man. Maybe against Michigan, maybe you'll find yourself here, Ryan Willie. Maybe Edwards is going to be okay. Maybe he just needs a couple more weeks. I don't know. Michigan can be had. Michigan can be had, Ryan Willie. You can do this, Ryan Willie. You can do this. I wish I could be a good friend to you, Ryan Willie, but I got my own problems. I got my own problems on October 4th. I got my own problems on October 4th. It was announced today, the Big Ten, what game's going to be at what time and what platform. Today it was announced that my beloved Golden Gophers going to be on the road. We know who they're playing. We know who they are playing. The reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're playing primetime on NBC. So, let me take this moment. And this is going to be the first time for this year. This is going to be the first time. It ain't going to be the last time. I want to send my sincere apologies to Expedition Greg, to Jared Jones, to Kayla Ramirez, to all the Buckeyes and the PATC family. There's a lot of them. I want to send especially my sincere apologies to Moen on the College Football Mafia show, because I've been ripping on all of them. I've been threatening all of them. I have been saying that may God have mercy on the Buckeye soul, because on October 4th, the Golden Gophers will not. I apologize for saying all those things. I don't know what came over me. I really did not mean it. Okay? Maybe it was my twin brother. I got a twin brother. His name is Bob Flugar. The other fat guy from Minnesota. He looks like me. He sounds like me. He even sings like me. It was Bob that was saying all these things about the Ohio State Buckeyes. It wasn't me, but I'm going to apologize from the Flugar family over to Moen, overall to all the Buckeyes. I really did not say it. It was not me. It was not me. Thank you, Ryan Willie, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. I appreciate your generosity so very much. Okay. Jason Spangler, thank you for becoming an early Peak Cloak and Dagger member for 5 months. Jason Spangler, boy, Kansas 41-10 over the Mountaineers. Looking really good. Looking really good. My goodness. Thank you. You are officially knighted. Cloak and Dagger. Cloak and Dagger. Thank you, Mr. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Jason Spangler. Thank you so very much. Okay, we got a lot to get to. Let's talk about these games first, and then we are going to get through. We're going to talk about the SEC opponents after we go through the games. Virginia Tech. We're going to talk about that. South Florida, and then I want to circle back into Mark Coyle's comments, the athletic director of Minnesota, talking about in 2 days, whether it's in 2 days or 2 years, there's going to be more fluctuation. There's going to be movement. There's going to be Big Ten expansion. Friday, September 26th, we here at Peek Around the Corner are going to be doing a watch party for Florida State in Virginia. And we're also going to start with the TCU-Arizona State game. And I'm going to try to carry a watch party throughout the whole Horned Frog Sun Devil football game. But we are going to do a Friday night watch party. The Seminoles and the Cavaliers. Big ACC football game. So please come and join us. We have a lot of fun. It's going to be the Cavaliers and the Seminoles. Holy smokes. Mike Norvell, Mr. Elliott. Woo! And we are going to talk more about this. This is going to be one of the games we pick against the spread. We're going to break this game down more. We're just going to quickly go through the games, all the games right now. So I don't want to spend too much time in any one game. But we are going to be doing a watch party. Florida State, Virginia, and then TCU, Arizona State. Houston and Oregon State play as well. TCU, Arizona State, man. Big 12 game. Arizona State just got by Baylor. TCU is looking awfully good. Big win over SMU. Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. Georgia Tech looking to go 5-0. USC versus Illinois. Can Illinois bounce back? Can the Fighting Illini bounce back at Champaign, Illinois? They got their doors blown off by that very talented Hoosier team. As I've been saying through the spring, summer, and September, that Hoosier team is very talented. USC and Illinois. There's going to be some points scored in that game. There's also going to be points scored Notre Dame and Arkansas, because that Notre Dame team, that Notre Dame defense, they can't stop anybody. And their best secondary player is not going to be playing against Arkansas. Rutgers in Minnesota. Possibly the game of the... Rutgers, Minnesota Golden Gophers. The Gophers open up their Big Ten play against Rutgers, and we got to win. We have to win. There's no choice. We don't have a choice, Gophers, because we play the Buckeyes the next week. We've got to beat Rutgers. For all that is good, for all that is holy, the maroon and gold God in the sky, please hold us Golden Gophers tight. We need a victory. Duke and Syracuse both coming off a big win last week. especially Syracuse, last weekend, a couple days ago. My goodness, Duke beat North Carolina State. Duke defeated 3-0 North Carolina State in Syracuse. Wow, what they did to Clemson. Fran Brown, of course. They lost Steve Angeli, their QB1, and now they're going to have to go through the season with their QB2, Louisville and Pittsburgh. I don't know what to think about this game. Pittsburgh, that loss to West Virginia, I don't know. Big game for the Louisville Cardinals. Cincinnati and Kansas. Again, Kansas comes off a bye week, and they look fresh, and they look dominant against West Virginia, but the Cincinnati Bearcats are coming off a bye week. Interesting game on TNT. UCF, again, they lost their offensive coordinator, Sean Clark. He passed away. Our prayers to Sean Clark's family and loved ones. Former head coach of Appalachian State, the offensive lineman. What a tragedy. Our prayers go out to Sean Clark and the family and loved ones. The next time you see Sean Clark, it will be forever. They play Kansas State, UCF, Kansas State. And I'm shocked by how UCF has started the season, and I'm shocked by how Kansas State has started this season. So, wow. And I'm also shocked by North Texas. South Alabama, they just lost to Coastal Carolina, who's been struggling a little bit. North Texas goes into overtime, beats Army. North Texas is 4-0. And I said on Saturday, this week, we're going to have a conversation about North Texas quarterback. And we will. And it's so important. We're going to have to cover the American, because whoever comes out of the American is going to have that they're going to be in the playoffs. And who knows, there could be 2 teams from the American that makes the playoffs. Bowling Green and Ohio. Utah State, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt going 5-0. Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan. Georgia Southern, James Madison. Arkansas State, Louisiana Monroe. First of many monster Big Ten games this week. The Buckeyes, Huskies. On CBS, 3:30 Eastern Time. Woo! That Demon Williams, that Husky quarterback, he's standing on business. He is playing electrifying football. The Buckeyes are going to be challenged in that stadium with that crazy crowd. The Buckeyes are going to be challenged. We'll see what happens. LSU and Ole Miss, and my goodness, I was wrong about Ole Miss. That Chambliss, that quarterback, what he's third stringer, he's playing fantastic football. Lane Kiffin, again, on offense when it comes to the passing tree, the passing routes, the passing formations, all the different things they do pre-snap, the Ole Miss Rebels. LSU's offense been a little challenged. That is a big, big SEC game on ABC. Auburn and Texas A&M. Do not count out the Auburn Tigers. They gave Oklahoma everything they wanted and a little bit more. And Marcel Reed is on our top. We're going to go through it tomorrow. Marcel Reed climbs up another spot on our Heisman watch. On our Heisman watch list, he's going to go up another spot. Texas A&M, Auburn, Indiana, Iowa. Can the Hawkeyes slow down the Hoosiers? Can the Hawkeyes slow down Fernando Mendoza, D'Angelo Pons, Kamara? We shall see, but that is a monster of a game. A great opportunity for the Hawkeyes. Both 1-0 in the Big Ten. UCLA and Northwestern, someone has to win. Somebody has to win. California, Boston College, I don't know. I do not know what the hell happened to California on the road. They're back on the road this week. Baylor, Oklahoma State. Again, Mike Gundy. That is the story. I've been hearing some names for the Cowboys' new coach. They're going to be on the candidates list. So the UTSA head coach, the North Texas head coach. There's a couple of them. We'll talk about that later in the season. Utah, West Virginia. The Utes have to come back, bounce back after getting beat pretty bad by the Red Raiders. Utah, West Virginia, UConn, Buffalo, San Diego State coming off a big win. Northern Illinois, Rice in the American, 1-0 against Navy, 2-0 in the American. Akron, Toledo, Linwood, Miami, New Mexico State, New Mexico, Tulane and Tulsa. Tulsa coming off a big win against Oklahoma State. Tulane gets beat bad by Ole Miss. Hawaii, Air Force, Tennessee, Mississippi State. Will Hell State challenge the Volunteers? Will Swagular be in another tough SEC football game? And can he pull out the victory? Big game. This is going to be one of the games that we pick against the spread. Davis Wade Stadium is going to be electric. Middle Tennessee, Kennesaw State, Liberty Old Dominion, Rhode Island, Western Michigan, Arizona 3-0, Iowa State 4-0. The spread is only 6.5. You notice that? The Cyclones are only favored by 6.5. They win a lot of close games. Matt Campbell, the Cyclones, they're probably not going to be able to pull away from Arizona. And that's the scary proposition, because when you got Noah Fafita running around, making off-schedule plays, the Arizona Wildcats are going to be dangerous in Jack Trice Stadium. Virginia Tech, North Carolina State, Jacksonville State, Southern Miss, Western Kentucky, Missouri State, Memphis, 4-0 in the American, and now they're playing a conference game against Florida Atlantic. Memphis is probably going to go 5-0. NBC, Oregon, Penn State. It's going to be a whiteout. And Coach Franklin has already said this is going to be an atmosphere like it's never been seen before. Penn State, Oregon. What a monster game for both programs. Penn State is dealing with the higher expectations, right? They are. I know Oregon has I get it. The Ducks, they expect to win the Big Ten again, go to the playoffs, challenge for the national championship. But this is Penn State's window. This is the Nittany Lions' window. They've got to get it done Saturday night, NBC against the Oregon Ducks. And look at this game, Alabama, Georgia. Alabama, are they back on track after losing the early game against Florida State, the opener? Georgia wins a big game against Tennessee. Georgia, Alabama. Woo! Athens, Georgia. Massachusetts, Missouri, Washington State, Colorado State, San Jose, Stanford, App State, Boise State, Kentucky, South Carolina, And, I think maybe there's a chance for an upset here. This might be my upset special. I think Kentucky, even though they're 2-1, 0-1 in the SEC, they played Ole Miss tough. They might be able to run the ball against the Gamecocks. Marshall, Louisiana, Louisiana Tech, UTEP, BYU, Colorado. BYU 3-0. Back on the road to Folsom Field. Back on the road. And Bear Bachmeier looked pretty good. He looked pretty good at East Carolina. That true freshman passed the test on the road. And now he got his first road game in conference play against Colorado. That's a big game for both teams. Big game for both teams. All right, so we just wanted to quickly go through the games. Tomorrow we're going to go through the games that we are going to make the selections against the spread. And then we'll do that on Wednesday. We'll talk more and more about these Week 5 games. But as you see, this slate of games, Georgia, Alabama. Are you kidding me? Week 5, Georgia, Alabama. The Buckeyes and the Huskies. The Nittany Lions and the Ducks. You've got sneaky. Now the ACC slate is a little weak this week. But the Big 12, you got sneaky games in there. That Iowa State-Arizona game, sneaky good. All right, we'll talk about that more as the week goes on. I'm sorry I can't spend any more time on it because we've got so much to go through today. I do apologize. If you want to talk about the games, put it in a super chat. I'll get some of the comments, or give me a phone call when the phone lines open up. But that's all I can spend on the football games today. We try to cover everything in college football. I do appreciate it. We got a super chat. Big super chat. My goodness. Opie is on fire. It's funny to me that every Big Ten fan here has said, outside of Michigan fans, that they did not win the national championship and it should not count. But now everyone is saying we have won 2 national championships in a row. Those Big Ten fans are a bunch of hypocrites, Opie. A bunch of hypocrites. Well, except for one of them. Buckle up. Opie D. Don is saying buckle up. It starts this year, guys. SEC. Opie D. Don. Ooh, he's throwing out the challenge. He's using the phrase buckle up. Buckle up. Thank you, Opie. Thank you so much for your generosity, Opie. Thank you so much for your comments. I do appreciate it. Wow. Opie's tired of listening to these Big Ten nut jobs. These Big Ten nut jobs, they're all over the place. Thank God I'm above that. I'm above the fray, Opie. I'm above the fray. Golden Gophers, we're just at a whole different level. We just look down at the Big Ten and the SEC and the Big 12. And we're just at a whole... I don't have to be in the fray. I wish I was in the fray. Thank you, Opie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We've got another super chat. Kenneth Maynor the East Carolina Pilot. Respect and props to BYU, great team and gracious fans. ECU made costly mistakes. Wasn't our night. Pirate Nation still has pride. On to Army Thursday night in Greensboro. Rest in peace, Sean Clark from ECU. Yes, thank you so much. Rest in peace, rest in paradise, Sean Clark. We talked about that earlier. Thank you so very much. So very much. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Kenneth Maynor. Appreciate your generosity. I love it when you're at a game and you make a comment in the comment section during our watch parties. Thank you, Kenneth Maynor. I do appreciate that so very much. Prees in Georgia, only goofball chants. SEC, SEC, SEC. Goofballs. Well, I just chanted it. Now, I didn't mean it, but I chanted it. Just for being funny as hell. Is that a hole a gopher hole? Is that a hole a gopher hole? I don't know what you mean by that last part. Did I say I went down a rabbit hole, a gopher hole in my last statement? We're staying above it. That means gopher hole. I get it. Thank you, Opie. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for your generosity. I was joking, obviously. Obviously, I was joking. Hopefully, everybody knows that I was joking. The Gophers are as much as nut jobs as any other Big Ten fan base out there. Thank you, Opie. Appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Expedition Greg. Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten. Ohio State Buckeyes will show why we are the most dominant, complete team in the country. Buckle up, brace for impact. Thank you for being a member for 22 months. 22 months. And I hope, Expedition Greg, that you caught my apology earlier about all the comments I made about the Gopher Buckeye game coming this October 4th. Hopefully you took the apology and you have forgiven me. Hey, Greg, make sure you pick Florida State next week. Appreciate you. Hey, Canes fan, I'm going to be Greg the Gold next week. I'm going to be Greg the Gold this week. I'm going to be Greg the Gold next week, the week after that, the week after that. So you want me to take your team, Canes fan. You want me to take your team. Okay. All right, we got a lot more to get to here. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Look at the front title of our show. Annual opponents. The SEC, they made a decision. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Here it is. Here it is. Sources, Chris Lowe on 3. The Southeastern Conference sets the annual football opponents for the next 4 seasons. The SEC will announce the football opponents of every league school for the next 4 years on Tuesday in an hour-long television special at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the SEC Network and ESPN2. In the new 9-team league schedule, each school will have 3 annual opponents that will be reevaluated every 4 years. So again, there's going to be an exception, of course, if the Southeastern Conference expands before, within the next 4 years, if the Southeastern Conference expands, this is all going to be looked at again. Meaning each school will play every other SEC school at least once every 2 years, and every opponent home and away in a 4-year span. The 3 annual opponents for each school, sources told on 3, are as follows. Alabama is going to have Auburn, no question. Tennessee, it's got to be. Mississippi State. Arkansas, we got Jamie Bengals girl in the house. Does she like the 3 annual opponents for Arkansas? Does Jamie Bengals girl support this? It is Missouri, Texas, LSU. Auburn, their 3 opponents for the next 4 years. Georgia, Alabama, Vanderbilt. Florida, the Gators. Jamie Bengals girl ripping on the Arkansas Razorback defense in the chat room. Where are we? Florida Gators. They're going to be playing Georgia. All right, that makes sense. South Carolina and Kentucky. The Georgia Bulldogs. Auburn, Florida, South Carolina. Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida. The LSU 3 opponents. Permanent rivals for the next 4 years. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Vanderbilt. Missouri, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is going to be Texas, obviously, Ole Miss, and Missouri. Ole Miss is going to be Mississippi State, LSU, Oklahoma. South Carolina is going to get Georgia, Kentucky, Florida. Tennessee is going to get Alabama, and of course Vanderbilt in Kentucky. Texas is going to get Texas A&M, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Texas A&M is going to get Texas, LSU, Missouri, and Vanderbilt's going to get Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Auburn. The priorities in creating the schedules were protecting traditional rivalries, competitive fairness, rotational frequency, and ensuring a home and away balance with a Power 4 non-conference opponent for the 2026 season. I happen to believe, this is my opinion, I think the SEC job well done. I really don't see any problem. Now, I'm probably going to be in the minority. There are probably SEC in the chat room. You probably don't like everything that you see in front of you. For me, I think the competitive fairness, as much as you can gauge it for the next 4 years, and a lot of it's impossible, but I think it works. I think it works. Let me know how wrong I got it. Tony thinks it's pretty fair. The Walking Geek, everyone's afraid of playing Georgia. 8, Texas A&M got a tough draw. Ryan Brooks, LSU. Okay. Alrighty. Well, you can put it in a super chat. Give me a phone call. Let me know what you think of the SEC opponents. Chris Lowe on 3. Breaking news. Those are the permanent rivals for all 16 SEC teams for the next 4 years. And of course, they'd be reevaluated after the next 4 years, or things can change because of conference expansion in the SEC. Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech Hokies. Andy Bitta. The Virginia Tech Board of Visitors has released its agenda for the September 30 meeting. On it, it's listed the proposed increases to the Hokies athletic department budget. $47.1 million in increases in the fiscal year 2026. More than $61 million in FY 27, 28, and 29. $47.1 million increase in year one, going to fiscal 2026. Now, this is more details here. And this is what I really want to talk about. Some more details from the agenda have been added. Here's how the Hokies intend to pay for these increases. The student fee number comes from a $100 increase each year. The majority of the numbers is expected to come from philanthropy, which is fundraising. So, if you look down here, you see that fiscal year 26, the goal is to raise $30 million. In 27, the goal is to raise $30 million. In 28, the goal is to raise $30 million. In 29, the goal is to raise $30 million in fundraising. So the majority of the increase is coming from fundraising. Now, look, how successful is Virginia Tech going to be in raising $120 million? Maybe they hit their mark every single year. And if they do that, maybe they can compete at a higher level in the ACC. And if they do that, maybe this helps Virginia Tech in the next round of realignment. Or at least helps Virginia Tech in the new Imagine ACC. Or it helps Virginia Tech in getting to the Big 12. Or it helps Virginia Tech when it comes to the best of the rest of us if those two conferences do a semi-quasi merger or they poach from each other. Whatever the circumstance is, Virginia Tech is going all in right now because they have to. Because they are so far down the revenue hole, competing against the top brands of the ACC. And by the way, maybe they fall short of the fundraising goals. Maybe a little bit short in year 2, year 3. They'll probably hit their mark in year 1. But they're at least emphasizing, showing a commitment, at least on paper. This may help Virginia Tech when it comes to their all-important coaching search. Remember, Virginia Tech and UCLA, they're already jumped on the coaching carousel. They've already started their coaching search. And showing this commitment officially on September 30th, when the Board of Visitors approve it, might help the Hokies get a head coach, retain have a decent amount for the coaching salary pool for the coaching staff, might help out a little bit for the rev share component. Virginia Tech is all in. But I just wanted to make it clear. It's not like Virginia Tech, when you look at the details, it's not like Virginia Tech is taken out of an endowment. They only can raise so much out of student fees, $100 each year per state law. Most of this commitment to the athletic department is fundraising. And, To be honest with you, that's what Virginia Tech needs to do. We'll see how successful they are. They're still going to have to spend the money correctly on the right head coach, the correct coaching staff, and all that. But there also is this, rob from Peter to give to Paul, right? If the money is going to this, then there is other money that's not going other places. Usually that's how it works. But Virginia Tech is going all in. The question was asked earlier, does this affect PATC Holy Smokes Theater when it comes to Virginia Tech? Because of this commitment, are they going into the Holy Smokes Theater? For now, my answer is no. It doesn't mean my answer is going to be no 3 months from now, 6 months from now. The reason why Virginia Tech is not inside the Holy Smokes Theater during the ACC drama, the reason why Virginia Tech is not inside the Holy Smokes Theater doesn't have to do directly, maybe indirectly, but it doesn't have to do directly with the revenues that Virginia Tech makes each and every year. The reason why Virginia Tech is not in the Holy Smokes Theater is because that door hasn't been opened to me. Other than Virginia Tech Money Perch that talked about this long shot plan that Virginia Tech has, and this may be part of that plan, where they see their only shot to get to a P2 is to actually latch on to Virginia and go to the Big Ten. Besides that, we have not had any doors open to us here at Peek Around the Corner when it comes to Virginia Tech. And that is what I base on when I talk about the Holy Smokes Theater. Not how much revenue, it's important. More athletic revenue you make is important. Of course it is. But I don't have, Virginia doesn't make a whole hell of a lot with their athletic department, but they are in the Holy Smokes Theater because of what I hear. So if there's any changes when it comes to Virginia Tech, I will make the appropriate changes in the Holy Smokes Theater. I promise you that. Okay? Just so we're all on the same beam. Okay, that is Virginia Tech. Let's talk about South Florida. Matt Baker. I'm at USF, where they're introducing the new CEO of athletics, Rob Higgins. His summary on the Bulls and where they are. Screw one day and screw potential. We have arrived. Higgins addresses the conference realignment directly. Do we have aspirations? Yes. Says the Bulls check 2-3 of the realignment boxes right now. To move ahead, up, he says, it's all gas, no brakes in this small window. Brett McMurphy goes on. New USF CEO of Athletics, Rob Higgins. We've got to make sure we're absolutely the best members of the American. Commissioner Tim Pernetti is not naive. He knows we have aspirations to get into a power league. But the reality is, those aspirations will be based on our performance in the American. We've got to make sure we're successful as possible, right this very minute in the future will take care of itself. USF, all gas, no brakes, small window. We got to get it done right now. And they do check off a few of those boxes. Real good university, big research university, AAU, big market, emerging fan base. They've gathered back their fan base. They're having some success. And by the way, when I look at the USF conference affiliation options going into the next realignment wave, I'm just now looking at an ACC backfill. It's potentially a Big 12 acquisition. If the American wants what that they used to, when if the Big 12 wants what the American used to have, the UCF-USF rivalry, those two big markets, Tampa and Orlando, it is a possibility that the Big 12, when they add on schools, might look for USF. I think it's a long shot, but I think it's a live shot. I think the Big 12 is going to be looking in other places, but it is a shot. So USF, I don't think just has the ACC option, but that is their leading one. The backfill into the ACC when the ACC implodes. If the ACC loses Florida State and Miami, USF has to be the addition into the conference. All gas, no brakes, small window, building a new football stadium. Okay, so that is the USF, the I-4 corridor, the fourth largest TV market in the U.S., the I-4 corridor rivalry, USF, UCF. Okay. All right. Now, I know this has been a long monologue. I get it. But I gotta talk about something once again here. For those who missed it, who did not join us on yesterday, we talked about Mark Coyle. And for those who were with us, who've seen it, I want to go through this real quick. I'm not going to spend the time like I did yesterday. But I really need to emphasize something here. For some reason, I failed yesterday. Gophers Athletic Director Mark Coyle on budget, revenue sharing, in Big Ten expansion. And we're only going to cover the more expansion part of what Mark Coyle said. Budget forecast for the 27th fiscal year include an expected uptick in revenue from the college football playoff, money that goes to the Big Ten and then its members. The CFP field is expected to grow from its current structure of 12 teams to possibly 16 next year. This is Andy Greeter, publisher, St. Paul Pioneer Press, yesterday morning. Mark Coyle also expects the Big Ten to expand at some point. The conference grew from 14 members to 18 in 2024 with the addition of Southern Cal, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington. Mark Coyle, our friends at Oregon and Washington, wanted so badly to be in the Big Ten that they're getting half the media revenue. I mean, think about that, Coyle said. I think Minnesota is very well positioned. We are a charter member of the Big Ten. This is the PATC money shot. Whether it's 2 days or 2 years, I do think there's going to be continued fluctuation. Because we are in this house settlement era for 2 months now. I can tell you peers in the Big Ten are trying to find revenue, right? What are peers in other conferences trying to do right now? We have the best media deals in the country, so there's going to be movement. There's going to be movement. Okay. And if you look at it, if you look at it, whether it's 2 days or 2 years, I do think there's going to be continued fluctuation. I'm going to tell you once again, Mark Coyle's statement has sent a ripple effect throughout the reporting world in college football. You haven't seen it yet, but it has sent a ripple effect. You're going to see it, but it has sent a ripple effect. Mark Coyle, the most cautious athletic director in the country, in the Big Ten for sure, probably in the country, never says anything, never speculates. Never. He chooses his words carefully. He said, whether it's 2 days from now or in 2 years, there's going to be more fluctuation. The Big Ten is expanding. There's going to be more movement. We've got the best media contract. The Big Ten is going to expand, and Mark Coyle is telling everybody, for whatever reason, that it's going to happen sooner rather than later. It ain't going to wait to 2030, ain't going to wait to 2029, going to be in that 2027, 28, 26 sweet spot. Now, what I failed to really, and I tried, but I failed. I got so many people sending me all this stuff. People ripping on me once again, ripping on the fat guy from Minnesota once again. Why is this so important, Greg? Here we go. Thank you for the comment, Village Idiot. Thank you for the comment. Nothing new there. We already knew that. Okay, let me answer that question. Did you? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that an athletic director of the Big Ten is coming out and basically believing and telling you that there's going to be Big Ten expansion within the next 2 years? Did you really know that? Did you really know that? Now, I've been saying it. I believe it. I believe it, and I've given all the reasons why. I'm not going to spend any time doing that unless somebody calls me on the phone and asks me why, or in a super chat. But no, the college football reporters, 99% of them are saying in 2030, 2029. So when people say there's nothing new there, we already knew that. Did ya? Did you know that? Let me give you another example. Because I have lived through this. Athletic directors, when there's something cooking in the frying pan, when there are real talks going on, they become real conservative in what they're saying. Like, if they're picking up the groceries, if they're trying to figure out the ingredients, the expansion list, they're talking with people, they come really conservative in what they're saying. And for Mark Coyle to come out and say this means that the train is way down the track. Okay. So on March, I like that you made the comment, Village Idiot, because it was a good segue. In March 31st, 2022, I went on X, at that time Twitter, and I said, USC is called the Big Ten. I went through March, April, May, June, saying it's happening and it's happening and it's happening. These are the reasons why. I gave out a lot of information. I did episode, if you want to watch how all that transpired, go back to episode 22. I'm not talking early peak Cloak and Dagger. I'm talking episodes that everybody can see. We've done 460 of them in 3 years. Go back all the way back to episode 22. I went through all the story, the tweets, the Los Angeles Times thing they did on me, the whole thing. Okay, listen to me now. I should have brought this up Sunday. I failed. I apologize. During that time, my first comments on X was March 31st, 2022. I made comments on April 2nd. I made comments on April 3rd. I made comments in late April. I made comments in May. I was being tracked by the head legal counsel of the Big Ten, the right-hand man of Kevin Warren. 9 different times. I explain it all in episode 22. Some of it is explained in the Los Angeles Times article. They confirmed everything I told them. The Big Ten did not want to be Houston chronicled. Okay? So during all this time, when they were keeping it all silent, except for the fat guy from Minnesota, I was chirping away. But I'm a nobody. I gave my information to everybody. There's only 2 media companies. There's only 2 media platforms that said, let me take a look at this, Greg. I gave all the information to everybody. To John Wilner, to Casano, every name that you could think of. And nobody paid attention to me, except for Minnesota 247, the great Ryan Burns, because I'd broken stuff for that platform years earlier, and USC 247, Mr. Abraham. In fact, I'm not going to get into too many details, but they were so serious about it. They were questioning USC, and they weren't even commenting back to them. They started having podcasts talking about the information that I had. Okay, this is important. You got to listen to this, okay? I should have said this on Sunday. During this time, when the Big Ten did not want to be Houston chronicled, they did not want this out. But it's not my job to do the Big Ten job. That's why when people call me the Big Ten mouthpiece or whatever, it's not my job. My job is to give you all the early peek Cloak and Dagger, the early peek around the corner. During this time, in May of 2022, in May of 2022, they sent out, you know what, I should have said that. In May 20 of 2022, you can Google it. I'm going to show you some evidence of it. There was one particular athletic director, I believe his name is Mike Babinski. I think he's still there at Purdue. He came out and said, well, there is no active talks. There is no active discussions for expansion within the Big Ten. Big old article. It came out. It went all through. It went all through Twitter at the time. I spent that afternoon we knew what was going on. We knew exactly what was going on. We knew that the Big Ten was in deep discussions with USC, deep discussions. We knew the athletic director went out there and said that because he was trying to quiet the storm that the fat guy from Minnesota that we were creating with accurate information every step of the way. And, you know, there were some people that got fooled by Bob, what's the name? Babinski, Mike Babinski. A lot of people got fooled by that. A lot of people got fooled by an athletic director coming out and saying, nothing is happening. There's no going on here. And people took that information from Mike Babinski and they went after me, which was expected. I laughed because we knew we had the real story. Let me give you an example of this. Can I please give people an example of this? No, it wasn't Baghdad Bob so much. It was Bob doing his job, trying to quiet me down. But can I give you an example? Here's an example. Here is this Big Ten information genius, right? That you all know and love. Purdue, this is May 20, 2022. Purdue athletic director openly confirmed nothing active in the Big Ten conference expansion. Yeah, I had that confirmed like a month ago. But I'm sure that bleep Flug Empire thinks USC to the Big Ten is active. Real source, me, versus made up BS, Flug Empire. Now, I got like 19 other posts saved just with this event itself. The Babinski event. Okay? Babinski. Oh, well, we've got like 3,000 receipts. But whatever. Look, my point, I'm losing everybody. My fault, I'm losing everybody. My point is this. Athletic directors, when things are going on, they don't say things are going on. They go the opposite way. They don't want people to know. That's why when Mark Coyle comes out and says whether it's 2 days or 2 years, not 5 years, that there's going to be movement, more fluctuation, the Big Ten is going to expand again. The ingredients have been bought. The ingredients have been prepped. And they're in the frying pan and things are cooking right now. Mark Coyle would not say any of that unless they've had serious conversations just recently. Mark Coyle would not say it. Maybe I can name a few athletic directors that might have gone way out on a limb, like a Trev Alberts, that's with Texas A&M. There's a few other ones, but not Mark Coyle. So when I say that what he said on a Sunday morning article in the Pioneer Press sent ripple effects around the college football reporting world, I mean that. At some point, you're going to see it. You are. There's going to be another athletic director saying something, another reporter saying something, another interview saying something. This means a lot. This is my last. I'm not going to say anything more until something else pops up on this. I'm going to keep my mouth shut because I cannot convince anybody. Mark Coyle saying this means things are in the bleeping frying pan. And we're not talking a frying pan. We're not talking about a slow cooker that's going to go on to 2030, 2029. That's not what this is about. Okay. That was my last. Greg, do you think Mark made that statement because the Big Ten is planning to move before the SEC? I do not know. I don't know. If I had to put my chips in the middle of the table, I would say no. But I think the Big Ten anticipates the SEC is going to move quicker than a lot of people expect. I think the Big Ten expects the SEC to move. But you know what? That in Kings Plain, if the Big Ten does plan on moving before the SEC, that means they've got North Carolina or Notre Dame, in my opinion. And I think both of them are not in the reach of the Big Ten right now. Just my opinion. All right. So, I just wanted to try to give everybody an example. Just trying to give everybody an example of why I deem the Mark Coyle statement so incredibly important, even if nobody else does. Sometimes I got to go out on my own once again. Okay, we are going to open up the phone lines. You can talk about Virginia Tech, USF, the SEC opponents. You can talk about the games that are coming up, the Mark Coyle statement, anything you want to do in college football. The phone lines are now open. 763-260-1333.
Call from
the Evil Badger, Ryan Willie, is on the line. Go ahead, Ryan Willie. Appreciate it.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet, buddy.
What I thought about last night about the thing about the Fickle situation, I have a counter to your argument that they won't fire Fickle during the season.
Okay.
Now, to see if this makes any sense. If the Badgers get blown out against Michigan on big noon kickoff on the 4th,
yeah,
which the way it looks is a possibility. And well, people have started to stop going to games. $10 tickets are being sold at a loss. If at a point it's going to cost more not to get rid of him than to get rid of him now.
Logical statement. I also would throw in, it depends on how it might depend on how many. When we're talking about if Luke Fickell gets fired, and if we're talking about the two options, getting fired in the middle of the season, during the season, or getting fired after the season, maybe it's going to be a little bit dependent on how many firings there are during the season. Because more firings there are during the season, and the later you start your coaching search, it could get Wisconsin Badgers kind of behind the eight ball, right? Because there is an advantage. if you're going to make a change, there are disadvantages and advantages. The disadvantages, you're going to lose guys probably in the 30-day portal, right? You're probably going to lose more games. You're going to interim head coach. Things are really going to go pear-shaped. You really don't have much of a chance of saving any part of the season, development of younger players. There are disadvantages. But one of the advantages is you get the coaching search started earlier than other teams that are going to fire their coach at the end of the season. You can get your athletic director talking to agents. You can get it all started. You can get the fundraising started, right? You can get the boosters involved. So you got to balance all of that. But Ryan Willie, I do understand you believe this is going to happen earlier rather than later. And I gotta give it to you. The Michigan game is kind of scary, really. Big noon. That defense is going to be, that Wolverines defense is going to be, who's going to be Wisconsin's quarterback in that game? Who is it?
Could be Hunter Simmons.
Huh?
Could be Hunter Simmons.
Yeah, so it could get real bad. You are correct on that.
And there was one other key thing that I didn't mention yesterday that I just found out after I called in yesterday, that a bunch of the recruits that they have committed for next year were at the game listening to the chant of Fire Fickle.
Yeah.
That isn't good.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
especially that Ryan Hopkins from Notre Dame, I think, in California. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. It's tough, man. It is. I'm
gonna
you're bringing up a really good argument, Ryan.
Well, Barry Alvarez has a show at 6:00 that I'm gonna watch and see what he has to say about the situation going on with Fickle, and hopefully he has something to say. But
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you, Ryan Willie.
Right.
Great call.
Right.
Beautiful call. Jamie Bengals girl, I am so sorry. I did not see the 5 gifted memberships. I apologize, Jamie Bengals girl. I don't know if you're still in the chat. If you're not, I will apologize to you.
Call from
Rick.
Rick, thanks for calling. Can you hold on for a moment, please?
Oh, you bet.
I appreciate it. I do apologize to Jamie Bengals girl. If you're in the chat room, if you're not, I'm going to apologize to you on a DM. I saw that you sent this out a while ago, and I did not see it. I was too busy getting all lathered up here in the studio, talking about all these things, college football. Jamie Bengals girl, thank you so much for your generosity. Jamie and Mary, thank you so much for all the support you've given our channel. For the 5 lucky individuals that received the generosity of Jamie Bengals girl, please say thank you to Jamie in the chat room. Jamie Bengals girl, thank you so much. And all of you are officially knighted cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. And now let me get caught up here. I do apologize, everybody. Nick Kelso, apologize to you, sir. What are the SEC voting factions, or what do you know which SEC schools are wanting in this round of expansion? I do not know the voting factions in the SEC. I do not know if there's firmed ones or flexible ones or whatever. I will tell you this. I've been saying it since June 15th of 2024. The SEC presidents want North Carolina and Virginia. That is what they want. Now, are they going to be able to get what they want? Are they going to have a bigger scoop to get what they want? Is ESPN gonna veto that plan and bring in a Florida State and Clemson? Has Florida State gotten more support from SEC presidents over the last year? Could be, could absolutely be. But I think that from what I've known, it's been pretty clear to everybody that the SEC, the presidents, when you're talking voting blocks, the presidents want Virginia and North Carolina. Now, ESPN is a voting block unto itself. So, we shall see. Thank you, Nick Kelso. Thank you for being a member, early Pete Cloakin member. Thank you so very much for your generosity. I appreciate it. Rick, thank you for your patience. I apologize to you as well. I got behind. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
I never need to apologize. Is the ACC helicopter that just landed with 9 games per season, is that something that would allow the next plane to land for CFP?
Yes. Good comment. Great comment. These planes have landed. And now we wait for the college football playoff plane to land, and then we'll see what happens. And depending on how big that plane is, like is it a jumbo plane where they're packing in a college football playoffs of 18 teams, of 20 teams, or 24 teams, or is it going to be 16 teams? That is going to give us a big signal on what's going to happen next, in my opinion.
It takes a long runway for that 24 one.
Yeah.
24 plane, yeah.
Yeah.
And then have you heard anything about that former Northwestern head coach go into any of these opening positions?
Yeah, I got him on the Fitzgerald. I got him on the UCLA hot board. Pat Fitzgerald and Dave Aranda are my 1 and 2 right now on the UCLA hot board.
You know, Aranda probably moved up after Saturday's game.
Well, they lost, but it was a close one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I wonder if you consider the Wisconsin job.
Woo!
I'm talking Pitt.
Wow.
I mean, he's a Big Ten coach.
Yeah, that is very interesting. He would be a Big Ten coach at Wisconsin, more resources than Northwestern, but still the same culture, the same high academic standards, but yet more resources. Very interesting.
And do you know of any investigative reporters who can get on this story? I mean, that you're, regarding, the Big Ten expansion. I mean, there's got to be people out there who are hungry investigative reporters who want to land a big story the way you did.
Boy, I don't know how to answer that. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna jump in and jump out. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know about the young, hungry people out there, but I do know. I got a feeling that there are old people like me, fat and old people, who understand the ramifications of what Mark Coyle said, because it was him saying it. There are people that understand that. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm not going to make any more comment on that particular point. Go ahead, sir.
No, that's it. That's awesome. Let's take the next call.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you. Great call by Rick. The phone lines are open. Phone lines are open.
From
Christopher Hooter.
Christopher Hooter, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling.
Press 2.
Oh, what did I do? Christopher Hooter, are you there?
I am here, sir. How are you?
You got it. Appreciate the call, sir. The floor is yours.
Well, I love the conference expansion talk, but that's just not on my list.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Auburn, Oklahoma, and the SEC officiating.
Yes. Go ahead.
Is it possible? Okay, all right. Now, I've been on the SEC officials a while.
Yeah.
I think all the conferences kind of hide the process of accountability of officiating. It's all an enigma wrapped in a mystery, right?
Yeah.
We don't know what they do. Do they hold a weekly meeting on Wednesday to kind of review these were the lessons learned, right? And so messed that one up. Let's try to do better next week. Is there self-improvement? Can you be suspended for bad calls? We don't know any of that. Do they even announce who they are? Do we even know who the officials are?
No.
Other than the guy talking on ESPN, the guy on the field making the call.
Yeah, I honestly, I should probably pay more attention to all that, but I don't. I may have to start paying more attention to that. But they don't really make it part of their broadcast, do they? They don't really say.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think at one time the NFL would announce them, I don't know, but that's been, the NFL is kind of mysterious the way they do it too, but sticking to college ball, other than the guy, saying, giving the signals offside so-and-so, you don't really, you don't really know them personally. You don't hear their names, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible that the Oklahoma coaching staff gets suspended or reprimanded for making that unsportsmanlike call?
Boy, that's a great question. I have not heard that that's in the works. Have you heard that? I have not heard that, but the Michigan coach, there's all the fall stuff in Michigan. I said, well, these guys knew that was a shady call. They knew it. Yes. Yeah.
And they did it anyway. And whoever greenlighted it, I think I kind of throw that out there. I don't know, right?
Yeah, and then God, that was a good game. That was a really good game. Auburn.
It was a great game.
Oklahoma is both those teams, and those were my two teams in Missouri in the SEC that I said they were all going to be better. Oklahoma was my big wild card. I got Missouri in the playoffs. Maybe I should have had Oklahoma in the playoffs. But Auburn, I hope Auburn. Now, they got another tough game this week. I forget who they're playing. Who is Auburn playing?
I should know that.
Anybody? Let me just. But I hope the Auburn Tiger fans. You kind of see an uptick in that program, and I hope they play Texas A&M at Texas A&M. Boy, I hope they give Hugh Freeze a little bit more of a runway after this.
A little more rope, right? Yep.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Yep. I thought they were playing pretty well, right?
Yep.
And that there was the fumble for a TD that. Generally, I'm with the guys, the announcers in the booth, and they've got an officiating expert, right? And I think the consensus was that was pretty close, not enough to overcall it. Well, they overcalled it, and then of course, and that went Oklahoma's way, and then of course the peekaboo receiver, that one just there's just no excuse there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's 14 points.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Careers are gone over 14 points. So,
yeah.
I know officiating is hard.
Yeah, that's a tough one, though. That's a tough one for Auburn to swallow. I mean, that's really tough.
And it takes the shine off the OU victory.
Yeah, because they could have won anyways. Yeah.
Right, but everybody kind of loses, right?
Yeah.
So, that was the one that really got under my crawl. I just wish there was a little more transparency in officiating, and how do we do that, and what's the process and all that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll leave that at that point. Other than that, I appreciate your comments about the Minnesota athletic director.
Yeah.
That's the story that just never ends. And I'll just ask one quick question.
Yep.
Do you think there's any way that the SEC gets Notre Dame?
No.
Is there any way that happens?
No. And that has nothing, and it has to do with Notre Dame's
hockey.
No, it has nothing to do with that. No, it has to do with where the Notre Dame fan base is.
They're all in Chicago.
Yeah, it's in Chicago. It's Los Angeles, East Coast. Very, very few in the southeastern region, and they travel. They want to go where their fans are. So no, I don't think it's either independent, or somehow there's some sort of conference that gathers up some ACC. I mean, I think it's independent or Big Ten. I think that's the heavy chalk.
Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Anyway, enjoy the show and see what you can find out on the officiating.
You got it. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Yes,
appreciate
it. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Great call. Christopher Hooter. I appreciate it. Now I look. This is a college football YouTube, national college football YouTube channel, right? Or at least 99% of it is. There is 1%. There is 1% that we cover a story. And I know a lot of you get upset with me. A lot of you roll your eyes at me. You say, Greg, come on. But again, I got to talk about it. It's happening again. Breaking news. It's happening again. Copenhagen Airport. There are still unidentified drones around Copenhagen Airport. Therefore, no planes can take off or land. Incoming flights are being diverted to other airports, and departing flights are delayed or canceled. Passengers are asked to check or with other airlines. This has been going on for hours. Norway, Denmark, again, the news is all over the place. These large drones are being seen in the sky. It's happening again. Multiple. And you can't fly your airplanes. You see how these drones, you see how much damage these suicide drones can cause in these wars that are going on. Again, these drones, the people that are flying them, they can't find them. Is this going to be New Jersey all over again? I'm telling you guys, something is going on. Drones, most of the time, drones are pretty easy to take down. You just stop the ability for the people on the ground to be able to communicate with the drones. You shut it down electronically. That's what we do all throughout our most sensitive military bases. But yet these drones, they're not affected by it. Again, it's happening. It's happening right now for hours. I'm pretty sure the drones are looking for the Gators offense. I don't know. I mean, pretty soon airports, the Russians, Ukrainians have AI guided drones. I don't know. It's happening all over again. It's happening all over again. No ground link is needed. They've been up there for hours. And there's like nobody can do anything about it. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I want to thank Edward the Auburn Tiger, Ricky Tungate, Bill G, Jimmy Austin, Jason Spangler, OPD Don, Ryan Willie, Kenneth Maynor, Expedition Greg, Jamie Bengals Girl, and Nick Kelso for your donations to help us keep the lights on to grow the channel. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the wonderful phone calls that we received, the great comments in the comments section. We covered a lot today on our live show. We stacked it in there, baby. We talked about Virginia Tech. We talked about USF. We talked about Mark Coyle again. We talked about the games that are coming up this week. And we'll talk about more of those games, a more selective slate of those games. Starting tomorrow, we'll make our picks against the spread on Wednesday. And I don't know. I think there may be some other interesting stuff happening later this week. So buckle up, brace for impact, keep your head on a swivel. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe to our channel. What are you waiting for? Subscribe to this College Football's Peek Around the Corner national channel. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, and before you leave, smash the like button if you like our content today. Until next time, which is going to be tomorrow, until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please y'all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family, Golden Gophers.